I remember in school, in grade school, yeah, we would make every Christmas, you'd get colored paper, green and red, and you'd cut it into strips, then you'd make little circles with them, and then you made a chain and hung it around the classroom. But I remember when I was about 5 years old, I got a scooter. And the fantastic thing was that year, Christmas Day, we didn't have any snow. I could go out and ride my scooter on the dirt. We didn't have asphalt back then. And I remember somewhere about that time, the lane, what came down to our house off of the highway was basically one vehicle wide.
I don't know how Terry could sleep through all this.
And it was such a muddy mess that Clearfield City organized and had farmers that had teams of horses with wagons. And they had a crew of men up on the sand hill there that would load up the wagons, and they would drive them down there and then put sand all up and down that street because it was so muddy. I remember that. But in Clearfield, they had what they called Pullum's Pond, which was just a pond of water. And in the wintertime, members of my family would go cut chunks of ice out in the wintertime to put in the ice house, so they'd have someplace that would keep their meat through the summertime when it was hot. My granddad and his older brother, who the older brother was the first white child born in Clearfield, they had a store in Clearfield, which did burn down, but they had meat all year round. But they would have to go cut, they had special saws that they would go cut chunks of ice out of of course, and you gotta remember too, that back then was generally a lot colder than it is now. I was reading recently that in the winter of, I think, 48 and 49,
That was bad.
in
Wait, tell me.
in Clearfield, the fence posts would stick up about that far above the snow. It was deep. The lane went down past our house. There was 2 houses below us on that lane. The city's truck, snowplow, could not get down there, so they brought in a state rotary snowplow and got about a half a block beyond our house and got the rotary plow stuck, and it was there for a week. Up between what they call it, up above Manaway, where you go up and over and down into the Dry Creek or Dry Lake area, you can still see when right after you pass the top, the road didn't used to go down, it went around, and you can still see the cut on the road where it went around. But the snow that year was so bad that road was closed for 30 days.
Dad, I'm sure everybody knows but me, but what is a rotary cut snowplow or truck or whatever you called it?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? How's that different than
on the front? Well,
Big snowblower.
yeah, it's like a big fan out in front, and it would cut the snow off basically, and then it would throw it up a tube and then out.
Like your snowblower.
Yeah.
It's not a
I've
plow.
seen pictures once in a while where on the road to Mirror Lake or something like that, where they've used a snowplow, and it's nothing to see like an 8-foot cut, if you can imagine the snow being that deep.
We
But
still use them too.
yeah, they do it, and they also have them on the railroad. They would have a special engine that had a rotary plow on particularly for the Donner's Pass, when they would go up the Sierras and
Oh,
down the other side.
yeah.
They've got one stored down at the Union Station.
Do they?
If you wanna go see one.
Okay. So, did you talked about the scooter that you got? Did you have any like favorite things that you ever got from 5 years old and younger?
Not that I remember. I remember at some point I got a set. Most of you won't even know what I'm going to say, but X-Acto knives. There were two different size knives, but you could have multiple blades that would fit each knife. That you could take the blade out and put in another blade for carving.
You got that before you were 5 years old?
No, but
Oh, okay. I just
Six.
scared me for a minute.
no. But I remember getting that,
Okay.
and
Alright.
Santa Claus brought it to me.
Nice.
But I was so excited I had to go into my parents' bedroom and show my dad that I had this. And then later he came out with a little box of blades that I'd lost in his bed.
So, did you have big family get-togethers?
We did. I remember, and I was probably less than 5, because I remember my grandmother's house, which was like, probably 3/4 of a mile if you went around the road. Then we had some kind of a party there at her house, and then when we went home, and at this time I don't believe my parents even had a car, but my dad pulled me up the road and down the lane to home on a sled. And then I remember one year I used to wear bib overalls when I was little, and in the summertime we was down at my grandmother's there, and my dad and I helped him, but I was churn ice cream, which was a real treat.
Can you stand up so I can see your sweater and get it on
Absolutely.
video? That's so beautiful.
It's his favorite.
This is my little brother.
I remember
Brother you
seeing
never
pictures
had.
of him in a dress.
Yeah, I used to tell my kids, this is when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I went to a Halloween party with, I think my sister called it her pinafore dress. But I had my Levi's on underneath, because one of the pictures I had a pocket watch, and I had pulled up my skirt and got out the pocket watch to see what time it was.
Mom,
Yeah.
did your family have big family get-togethers and stuff for, I almost said Halloween, for Christmas?
Not that I remember. What I remembered was the night before. We would all meet over at the church house, and they'd have a Christmas party, and Santa Claus would come,
Cool.
and the other relatives were there.
And I know your mom and dad played music for a lot of the things in the area there. Did they play any music at Christmas time?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yep. They had a little band.
That's neat.
I think maybe David just.
I
got
can't
here.
see.
Oh, okay.